The Australian wildfires destroyed millions of acres of land and left thousands of people homeless.
Today, the 25 people who lost their lives in New South Wales have been remembered, as our Sydney correspondent Phil Mercer reports.
It was Australia's Black Summer. Since July, almost 16 million hectares of land was scorched. Lives and livelihoods were lost, along with thousands of homes. At a memorial service in Sydney, there was a sombre show of solidarity for the victims of Australia's bushfires and their families. It began with a traditional Indigenous ceremony. New South Wales was at the heart of a crisis that raged for months. 25 people were killed in Australia's most populous state. It was scarred by fires that were unprecedented in their scale and intensity. The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, said they were days the nation would never forget.
A season of air you couldn't breathe and of orange skies that wouldn't rain. An unforgettable trauma absorbed into our very beings, and of unrelenting grief for our land, our wildlife and our families. Children kissing the coffins of their fathers, proudly wearing their helmets. Mothers and fathers who should never have had to bury their children. Friends who came to our aid, who travelled across the water to support us, but to return home under their nation's flags.
Heavy rain has brought the crisis to an end. The recovery efforts will be immense, but already there are nervous glances towards the next fire season. The memorial in Sydney comes as the federal government begins a royal commission into the bushfire disaster. The Prime Minister said the investigation would help Australians survive and adapt to hotter, drier and longer summers. Critics, though, say the Commission won't be considering the full impact of climate change on the emergency. Phil Mercer, BBC News, Sydney.
Real reminder, isn't it, watching that even when something's out of the headlines every day, that the reality and the consequences of the scale of the fires there live on for so many people.
Yeah, so sad to see.